This is Boxing Tickets NI. We're here at the first press conference for Crocker Donovan. Delighted with joy once again with Eddie Hearn. Me and you some memories in the Europa Hotel here. Like, were you surprised by the atmosphere tonight?
I was actually. I mean, look, sometimes you get a little bit robotic because you're like press conferences every week, sometimes every day. And I kind of turned up today. I was like, oh my God, how many people? And then I introed the fighters, heard the noise, and it just gives you like, how can you not love it? I thought the press conference was brilliant. I thought both fighters spoke really well. The trainers spoke well. Incredible atmosphere. You got Belfast, you got Limerick, and you got a brilliant fight as well. And delighted to be bringing another big night to Belfast and to the Odyssey on March 1st.
You mentioned obviously during it, and I was really thinking of watching the press conference of Frampton Quig. I remember this exact same room. You'd done the launch press conference for that when you'd done the 2-day things. It felt a lot like that, but I guess that's the pride of the Irish community, isn't it? Everybody likes to support everybody.
Yeah, and also you're not really blessed at the moment with big nights here, are you? So it is a big night, and it's a huge all-Irish fight. I know people talk about north and south, and Lewis said it's Belfast against Limerick, whatever you want to call it. It's just a big fight between two Irish undefeated fighters with world championship ramifications, and I think style-wise it's just going to be a thriller.
It's a sort of weird one the way, like, obviously the winner that would fight Boots Ennis, but obviously it looks like obviously Boots wants bigger fish sort of thing, so like it could be the time that becomes a final eliminator and then fights for the vacant belt.
I think it's a very big potential. Boots is going to try and unify in April. After he's done that, there's every chance he could move to 54. So all of a sudden, the winner of this fight could be fighting for a vacant championship, maybe in Ireland. How many times do you get a world welterweight championship taking place in Ireland? I mean, Eamon Loughran was the last guy we represented many decades ago. So it's a massive life-changing opportunity for both, because then you start bringing in Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Riyadh season, and all of a sudden you're in that mix.
We've seen what Riyadh season's obviously done for someone at Stoke, and you heard you as Anthony Cacace. Obviously, 2024 changed his life with Riyadh.
Yeah, just disappointed that he's going to vacate the belts. In my opinion, I think it's I kind of called him out on it before, and I think he doubled down with his pride and sort of said, "No, I'm not. I'll fight Nunez." And I was so happy because he's such a brilliant fight, and like Cacace might even be a favourite for that fight in Belfast. But he's trying to kind of convince himself that a Leigh Wood fight for the IBO world title is a better move for him. It's not. Vacating that belt is not a good move, because if you beat Sugar Nunez, you go on into massive unification fights in the division. The reality is I'm not saying him, but his team are concerned about that fight, and it's just such an amazing fight. And there was a time where Queensberry come back and said, "We're doing the Nunez fight," and I thought, fair play, because he's never defended his world title. He worked so hard to win it. I know, like, maybe you want a little bit more money. The money's not that different. But if you win against Nunez, you're going to defend that world title in massive unification. So I'll be very disappointed if he vacates. Unfortunately, he's going to vacate, and I've said this all along.
Do you think Queensberry maybe looked at it more in the marketable sense? Obviously, Anto's never been the one in the big spotlight before. Obviously, Nunez the same. So maybe looking at the Leigh Wood fight maybe as a potential to be a bigger fight in some ways.
But it's for nothing. It's not for a recognised, world championship. Look, Leigh Wood's a great fighter, Cacace, but you've got to be defending your championship. And by the way, Cacace Nunez is a big fight. Don't forget, we've all been talking about that fight for months. People know how. I'm not saying Nunez is a household name, but don't think that a matchroom fighter, undefeated Mexican, that has been having big wins, coming to Belfast with me. And with Queensberry against Matchroom is not a big fight. It is a big fight. But don't try and talk it down as not a big fight because you don't want it. Do you know what I mean? Oh no, who's Nunez? I would say the same thing. That's what I say when I don't want to fight. Oh, why would we fight them? Because you might get beat. But I don't think necessarily he'll get beat. He's on a great run, and Anto's a great fighter, full of confidence, strong. Mate, that fight, Cacace Nunez, I'm telling you, is an absolute bloodbath.
I guess it's one of them. Obviously, you need obviously the Saudi influence. If it was back in Riyadh again, I guess money wouldn't be the problem.
Maybe, but not necessarily. Why not do a big fight in Belfast? You've got a guy who's a genuine world champion in a brilliant world-class fight. I'm sure he'd do really well at the Odyssey. But again, you just downplay Sugar Nunez because it's, But what are you going to do? Fight Leigh Wood for the IBO world title?
There's a big domestic, obviously, presence on the card. Obviously, Tommy McCarthy and Steve Moore, the fight that people's been calling for a few years. Rudy Farrell and Gerard Hughes in a rematch. I believe you tried to make other domestic fights for Paddy, Caoimhin, Agyarko and things like that. Like, is it annoying at the fact that other Irish fighters aren't saying yes to domestic?
Yeah, but everything, sometimes it's weight related, sometimes it's money related. Caoimhin was up for, we tried to make Caoimhin against Aaron McKenna. I'm actually talking about Aaron McKenna in another fight now. Paddy McCrory, we want to make him against Craig Richards at 175. It's a really good fight. Tommy against Steve Ward, great fight. We just want to make great fights. Like, Kurt Walker as well. We're in talks. Like, whether it's Kurt Walker, whether it's Caoimhin who get that last slot, I just want it to be a really good fight. I don't represent Caoimhin. I don't represent Kurt Walker. I like Caoimhin, but it's the fight that I want. Do you know what I mean? So as long as it's a great fight that I love, I want to be able to say, boom, here's the card, and you'll go, fucking hell, what a great night, and it will be.
Crocker McKenna was obviously a special night in the SSE last time. What do you expect, obviously, of the venue this time? A venue you've been in before with Frampton and things like that. I know there's capacity issues at the moment. Like, are you hoping with all these additions to the card that'll sell it quickly?
It's going to be, like, in a worst case capacity-wise, 7,000, which is still raucous. I mean, whether it goes to 8 or 8.5, whatever. But the great thing about this fight is you've got a massive Belfast fan base, but you've also got, Paddy will bring 1,000, couple of thousand, up from Limerick. And that's when you start getting an even better atmosphere, because you've got pockets of fans. But it's, the people here know their boxing, and they know this is a brilliant fight.
Who's the favourite in that fight?
I don't know.
Are you like me and you want to stay on the fence because you're scared to offend either side?
I would stay on the fence anyway. I'm not going to, but I guess Lewis, with the experience, with being at home, but Paddy's a sharp shooter. He's a real good, Andy Lee said, generational talent. If he is, maybe he's a favourite. I don't know. It's who can perform in the cauldron on March 1st.
It's one of them fights, isn't it? Like, it could be over in a minute in the first round. Like, it could be that type of fight.
I don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised if it ended inside 6 rounds. I think both guys have the power to hurt each other, and I think, tensed up and nervous and, with that cauldron of noise, one shot can change everything.
Finally, just for anybody that's obviously contemplating still buying a ticket, obviously tell them why they should be there March the 1st.
Because you've got one of the great all-Irish fights March 1st with just an electric atmosphere, a great undercard. You want value for money, you want great sporting entertainment, and you want a night where you can leave that arena and go, wow, that was some night. Be there March 1st.
Thanks very much, Eddie.
Cheers, mate. Good to see you.